We all know that Elle Wood's type of woman, a straight up boss who doesn't stop for the world, but the world stops for her. We not only want to look up to these confident, intelligent, fear tackling kinds of women, we want to become one ourselves.
And that's what we're trying to achieve at Insert Verb Here, sharing our passions, opportunities, and experiences to give you the tools and motivation to become her, documenting the journey we're on to become the best versions of ourselves, the journey of becoming a strong and powerful woman.
I have a very terrible mindset of I'm flawed and I deserve to be hurt anyways, and I will always be hurt, but that's something else we're working through.
Wow.
It was just so much anger and resentment and feeling like she ruined my life. I would come home crying, begging my parents to take me out of school.
Hello, Haley.
Hi.
How are you today?
I've had better days.
Do you want to talk about it?
We're just having a lot of technical difficulties
We
today. Like, that is the easiest way
it's
to
a
say it.
two-woman run show right now.
Currently.
And sometimes...
two women who have no idea what we're doing with the technology we have.
Yeah.
And just trying to figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've had better days.
You should see the behind the scenes. It's pretty...
Yeah, I've had better days, but what about you?
I'm good. I went for a run this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a run. I'm very out of shape. But yeah, it was good. Caught up on some much needed sleep. Yeah, so I'm tired, but I'm good.
Yeah.
Body's feeling like sore, but good.
Mm-hmm. You're already feeling sore from your run?
Yeah, that's how out of shape I am.
Wow. I never
Normally when I work out, so I think there's a difference between working out and running.
Oh, absolutely.
So normally when I work out, I'm not sore until like 24, 36 hours later.
That's how I am too.
But my knees are still like weak. And my back, because I have bad back issues, my back was immediately like spazzing and not liking me.
That's
But
not fun.
It's okay. I'll get better at it.
Yeah. It just takes practice.
Yeah.
Which is
But it was
why I
cool.
don't run. Well, one of the many reasons why I don't run.
It was so wild because I used to, like, growing up, I was very athletic. I did a lot of sports. One of the sports I did was track. We were running all the time. And I never considered myself a runner, but I could run.
Yeah.
Ha. That ship has sailed.
I feel that.
But I'm
had a
going to want to
dream.
get back into it.
Because I ran track too in middle school.
Yeah.
And I had a dream about me running track again. And I was like, I woke up and I was like, these joints could never. These old lady joints could never.
I'm excited. I hope I continue.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and continue. But
Yeah. Because I guess that was what our goals for last week. To work out more. Because we've both been kind of not making it an important
No.
piece in our life. So did you achieve your goal this week?
I did not. I worked out like maybe not including today because we record on Fridays. So it's still technically like the week of me trying to be more physical. But I worked out besides today like maybe a total of 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, like maybe 10-minute workout on Monday and then like a 5-minute workout like yesterday, I think, or the day before. So no, but today I made sure I woke up early. I went for a run. Yeah, and so I'm going to try to keep it up because it's okay to set goals. I mean, it's not okay to set goals for yourself and not achieve them, but if you don't achieve them, you have to make sure to forgive yourself and start new.
Amen.
That was clever, huh?
That was very clever. That was very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, if you couldn't tell from Jordan's response at all, you probably couldn't. We're talking about forgiveness this week.
Forgiveness.
Can you imagine?
Any Hamilton fans out there?
We'll find out. We love Hamilton. We're theater nerds. Anyhow, forgiveness. Let's not try to ramble too much this time. Yeah. So, I guess we'll just start with, like, why do you think forgiveness is important?
I think it's very. It's some people don't have it. Like some people are like, you know what? I'm the kind of person that holds grudges. If you do me wrong, you do me wrong. Like, but to me, I used to be that person. But why hold that much resentment and hate and anger and just so much like negative emotion in your heart? If it was something like you wanted to go to dinner and they fell asleep or like they accidentally made plans or, you know, like something small like that. And if it was like the first time it happened, like forgive and forget. Like, it wasn't, they didn't like do something serious to you. It didn't really impact you.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. I think forgiveness, it makes you feel lighter, depending, like, on lighter situations, obviously. I think it helps the connection and the relationships between people. And really, like, I think it just does wonders for yourself because you're not holding on to all this extra baggage and burden and emotion that you don't need to be carrying around with you. Because you already have enough of that.
Yeah.
Why keep holding on to something else that you don't necessarily need? That's not benefiting your life either. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think for me, I think it's important because if we are able to forgive people, it helps with our own growth.
Oh, that's
like
true.
If you're holding on to this anger and pain and resentment, it can really hinder yourself from growing. Plus, it harms you more than it harms the offender.
100%.
Like, you're essentially giving them power and control over your life and your mind, because if you're holding on to this constant anger and resentment and all these negative emotions, they're not going to, probably not even going to know. They're not going to think about it, but you're going to be plagued by this constantly.
Yeah, like, for example, very random example, but my dog Mushu, he's right under us. He got attacked by a dog like 5 or 6 years ago, and he ended up losing his eye because of that. And for a long, long time, I was really angry with the owners because they never apologized. They never attempted to make things right. They never did anything. And I never forgave them for it, even though they didn't really have control of their dog because their dog got out. But just the fact that I felt like they didn't handle the situation well. And so anytime Mushu and I would go on a walk, I would tell Mushu to wait to go potty until we got to their yard, and then I'd have him in their yard or poop in their yard, because I was like, this is what you get. Like, you never apologized. You never offered, like, you didn't have to pay for the vets, but at least pretend like you're upset that your dog seriously harmed my dog, you know, like. So for years I was very bitter and didn't have any forgiveness towards them. And now I do. Now I can see them, and I'm not filled with this resentment and of me wanting something from them that I'm not probably ever going to get. Like, just move on. He's fine. He's okay. He's super cute with one eye. It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah. He survived. He's okay. It didn't change his life, you know. He runs into things a little bit.
I was gonna say he does run things into a little bit more.
But it's cute.
Yeah. And so I think it ends up hindering you more than the other person. Like, so much more. And so being able to forgive other people just helps you to really kind of, like, free your mind.
It helps you to grow more. For you to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you can forgive other people for that, why can you not forgive yourself for some of the things you've done?
Yeah, and forgiving someone too doesn't mean that you're not, like, someone who's, like, seriously harms you doesn't mean, like, you're not cautious or you're going to let them
learn
back.
from the situation.
And, you learn from the situation and know, like, because some people think, like, oh, if somebody really hurts you and you forgive them, that means you have to let them back into your life. It does not. They do not owe you anything. Do not let them back in your life.
You don't owe them anything.
That also is what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say.
It's okay. It works both ways.
Yeah, it does. It's letting yourself know that you're not going to let them take up space in your mind.
Yeah.
And take up a piece of your life and your heart. So,
yeah.
I think that's why forgiveness is quite important. Muy importante.
Taking up space. I think you worded that perfectly. Taking up space in your mind and your heart.
They ain't living rent-free in your mind. Taking up that free real estate.
Yeah. Don't allow that. Forgive, but don't forget. Yeah. Like that saying.
Yeah. So.
Or forget. I don't know. I do.
You forget?
Sometimes.
I don't.
Depending on the situation.
Yeah.
I have a terrible memory.
I forgive, but I will never forget. Ever. Dun, dun, dun. Have you had a situation where you have forgiven somebody who's truly hurt you?
I think the biggest ones, for the people that come into my mind, it's still a process. Because in those times, you feel any relationship, any sort of relationship, friendship, intimate relationship, or like family relations, any kind of relationship, you give them a connection, you're part of your heart, you know, whatever. So for me, I'm a very sensitive person, even though I try to hide it. But on the inside, I'm very sensitive. And so when I get hurt, I like reel in, and then I just stay quiet. And then, but after a while, you know, it'll just build up and build up. And so I think there's still a lot of built up, closeted stuff of a couple different people in my life that I was really close to over the years that I still need to let go and forgive of. But I'm also the kind of person that I need closure in some situations, and I would like to talk about things. And for a lot of these people, that's not going to be a thing I'm ever going to get. So I think I need to let go of wanting closure from them, get closure from myself, so I'm able to forgive myself and forgive them and forgive the situation and move on.
That's good.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm really, as much of a negative person as I am, it's always directed towards myself. I really never deal with like anger, or really, I do not have many like people in my life that I'm like, they really hurt me, and I, to the point where I resent them, and I don't, because most of the time if I have those things,
I don't think I resent anyone.
I'll forgive most people immediately because I can see their point of view. Like, as much as it hurt me, I have a very terrible mindset of I'm flawed and I deserve to be hurt anyways, and I will always be hurt, but that's something else we're working through.
Wow.
That's something else we're working through, okay?
Deep.
But like most of the time, if someone hurts me, even though it sucks, I'll understand why. Yeah. And so I think
that's very important because I think if you don't see it from their point of view, like as long as you know where your boundary is, where it's okay for you, because I agree with you. And I think that's the mindset that I have changed and I keep trying to channel is see things from the other person's point of view, because people aren't always trying to do you wrong. Yeah. People are just different. So I think seeing it from the other point of view can help in the forgiveness factor. I think that's very, very, very important. Yeah.
And so, like, for the most part, that's kind of where I sit with it, like, with forgiveness. As I usually forgive people immediately because I see their point of view. Yeah. Even if I'm still hurt by it and dealing with those emotions, I never feel, like, the anger and then, like, that level of emotion. But there is one instance that comes to mind for me, and
Bum, bum, bum.
dun, dun, dun.
What is it? Do you want to share with the class?
Yeah, I can share. So basically, I had a huge friendship breakup.
Friendship breakups are the worst.
Yeah, with my best friend from middle school to high school. It really wasn't even just her. It was honestly the entire group of my friends. Like probably me and like 12 girls.
Yeah, that's one of the situations I was thinking of is kind of the same thing with me and a group of, it was one specific person, but it ended up being a whole group of people in high school as well. Yeah.
So I guess the best way to kind of explain the story is really just kind of starting from the beginning. So I guess it started in middle school. We met in English class. We bonded because she was a gymnast and I was a cheerleader. So we had like a school project where we had to do like a video about, we had to read the same book. It was like in pairs. We had to read the same book, and then we had to like act out a video about the book. I don't remember what or why, but I remember we were in the hallway filming one day, and this is really before we got close. We just happened to sit next to each other. And we were just tumbling down the hallways in school and just f***ing around in the middle of class, like when we're supposed to be recording. And that really kind of just like solidified our friendship. And so we got really close. And this is the girl that I had the spy club with.
Oh, Baby Boots. This is Baby Boots. I think that was like episode 1.
Yeah, I think that's when we talked about it.
You know. If you know, you know.
OG.
Baby Boots.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were best friends. We hung out every single day in school. I don't remember how much I hung out of school, but like probably a lot. And so we were really close. And that was my 6th grade year. And then 7th grade year rolls around and we were still very close, but then she started getting closer with this other girl. And I started to get really jealous and feel like she liked her more than me. I'm not good enough for her. She's using me, all this stuff. But I still stayed friends with her during this whole thing. But she just kind of slowly started distancing herself. And then same thing happened 8th grade and the 9th grade year. And that was really, really hard for me in that situation because it went from us being like everything, even though it wasn't even for that long period of time, it always felt like we were just like kindred spirits.
Yeah.
And so no matter
that
connection was there. And so when she started getting closer to this other girl, I like was so jealous.
Yeah.
And felt so like hurt that like definitely feeling like I was the victim in the situation and feeling like she was like doing this all on purpose because for whatever reason, because she was using me or whatever. But I still stayed friends with her. And then freshman year of high school came around, and that is really kind of when the bulk of everything started happening. And so I was really bullied my freshman year of high school. Like I felt so ostracized from the group because it wasn't just her. It was like my whole, like probably, like I said, 10 or 12 girls that really, like, we went from being really close to being completely alienated. And so to like, I was miserable. I would come home every single day crying, like begging my parents to take me out of school because it was the worst thing I've ever gone through in my entire life to this day. And so I felt
teenagers, man. If you're a teenager out there,
awful.
Please be nice. Please. I know, looking back, your hormones are just wild. Everyone's hormones are wild. Amen. It is a time. Just please remember, please be nice to no matter what age you are. But if you're a teenager, sometimes you don't know what you're doing and what you're saying. Sometimes you do. And if you do know what you're doing, don't do it. Please stop. Please. But if you're being rude or mean or bullying, but sometimes you don't know. So please be conscious of what you're saying, how it could be perceived from other people, how your words can affect other people. You just don't know. And teenagers, you don't know how someone else is going to receive it because their hormones are wild too. So
you don't know what they're going through either.
Yeah. So just please always be nice. Teenagers, being a teenager
sucks.
Is awful, and spending time with teenagers is also awful. Amen. So just please be kind. Anyway, continue.
We all know I'm very dramatic, and I've always been very dramatic. And so even though I was the victim in the situation, my little 15-year-old mind definitely
was like, I am the victim.
Yes, like seriously, like was like, the whole world is against me. Everyone hates me. Everyone's out to get me. Like, no one's ever going to love me. Like, they've proven, like, people just use me all the time, which partly is true. No, I'm serious. Like, I've come to terms with it now, but I do have this problem of people coming into my life just to use me. It happens constantly. And so that's some trauma I've had to work through in my past that we're still trucking along. But anywho, this is where it kind of started. And so, like I said, it started this cycle of me feeling like when people don't need me anymore, they leave me. And like I said, I still think that's true to a degree, but definitely not what I feel like it was, especially at that age. And so I like built it up in my head and just really played the victim in the situation not outwardly, to myself. And so I've never truly hated anybody in my life. And so she would definitely probably be the closest that I've ever gotten of actually hating somebody. But she didn't even pass that threshold. And so for years, anytime I would see her or I would hear her, like, come up on Facebook, like, it was just like this so much anger and resentment and feeling like she like ruined my life. Dang. Because a lot of things happened because I left school because I was being bullied so much, which stemmed from her. And then a lot of things got messed up after that point. And like I said, it started this whole cycle of feeling like people use me and then leave me, which like I said, they do. But, so anytime I would think about her, I would blame her for all of the stuff that happened. And it happened for years. And like, I would just blame her every single time that I thought about the situation. And then as I got older, it was actually, maybe last year or the year before that, or maybe the year before that. Sometime in my life. I was thinking back on the situation and I was like, 99% of that was all in my head. Yeah. 99% of it was me being dramatic and playing the victim. And me hating this girl, almost hating this girl, and blaming her for everything I went through. It really wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
And there was no reason to blame her at all.
Wow.
And most of it was honestly me just making everything 100 times worse in my head.
Wow.
And so I was able, I thought about reaching out to her, but I was like, nah, I don't want to.
Why not?
I don't know. It would be kind of weird. We haven't talked in a long time. She lives in California now. Because I wanted to, like, be friends with her again, but I was like, I don't need to be friends with her again. But it would be weird to reach out to her. She's also kind of a bitch, too, now.
Well, I was going to say, you can, like, I don't know how she feels in the situation, but I feel like if I were to get a message from someone that I wronged, because growing up was not a nice kid. Elementary school, middle school, probably even high school. I was not nice. And if I got a message from somebody like, hey, like, just want you to know, hope you're doing well. I'm sorry for everything that happened. I just want you to know, like, I don't blame you for anything. Yeah. I think it would make me feel better. Maybe I didn't even realize what impact I had on their life. So it would make me more aware of how I handle situations and talk to people. I think it might be a good thing, but I don't know. Also, some people aren't ready to hear that. So.
I think if I message her, I truly don't think she would care.
Really?
With my whole heart. Like, I do not think she would care. So because that's the thing, is that, like, as much as it is about forgiving her, it's more about
letting go for yourself.
Letting go for myself. Because realizing, that's, like I said, 99% of that was all built up in my head. Yeah, as much as she did do, and it sucked, you know, it did. It wasn't the best stuff. But more of that, I just created out of nothing. And so I needed to forgive her for myself and not forgive her for her sake.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the big thing that
like
I had
these
to learn.
People who lose a family member or themselves get harmed in some way, and they forgive the other person who deeply hurt them in an attack or like that. Wow. Like, how do you work through something like that? Like being bullied is so serious, but that took you years to work through. But these people who have murdered children and they see the murderer in trial and they go, I forgive you, but like blah blah blah. Like, how do you work through something like that?
I mean,
I guess it's so it doesn't control you. They have to let it go because, like we were talking about in the beginning of the episode, so the hate and all of the resentment and anger and feelings in their heart aren't controlling them. You can't live life being controlled by these negative feelings. I guess you have, at the end of the day, you have to forgive the situations or the people to let yourself be free, like you said.
Because, like, that's the thing. Like, it gives the other person power.
Yeah.
And so, especially in that situation like that, where it's like, you do not want to give, you know, a murderer or a rapist power.
Yeah.
You don't want, like, you need to take back. Take
back your life.
They took that from you. You need to take it back.
Yeah.
And so I think that's how people are able to forgive someone who's done that much to hurt them, you know?
Wild.
I know.
And, like, seeing things from their perspective, like we were talking about, that's very important to both of us. But I guess those are more for the minor everyday things.
Yeah.
Something like that big.
Anywho, so that's all I have to say. That was kind of my story of forgiveness.
That's good.
That actually ended up being my fault anyway. So.
Well, I wouldn't say it's your fault.
No, it wasn't.
But you were able to work through things, grow from it, see that things weren't maybe what they fully seemed at the time, but you're able to work through it and grow from it. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from forgiveness, is being able to grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I hope you guys took something out of this, or maybe it kind of reminded you that there's someone that you need to forgive in your life.
Including yourself.
Including yourself, forgiving yourself. So you want to get into our goals for this week?
Yes.
So, Jordan?
So my goals for this week, because I didn't quite achieve my physical activity goals that I wanted to do for last week. My goal for this week is to continue with that goal, keep prioritizing it, or actually start prioritizing it, potentially make a schedule, because it's easy to fall off the schedule, and going in with this week's episode, forgive myself if I do not work out for one day or the day I have set to work out. Forgive myself, and I can pick it up the next day or pick it up next time. It's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, just staying with my physical activity goals.
That's good.
What about you?
So I've been having a lot of problems recently. Which
I'm having a lot of
I'm
problems.
having a lot of problems recently, and they've really been pissing me off. Like I said, I never get angry, and so if like I am like tired of feeling this way, and I'm tired of, I had like 5 or 6 mental breakdowns this week, and I am tired of it.
Yeah.
And so my goal this week is to take it back into my hands and take control back.
Take control back.
Take control back.
Take that initiative.
Because I know exactly what needs to be fixed in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to Zane about it too. And he was like, you need to step up and be the one to implement it. Nobody else is going to do it. And I'm like, I don't want to be the one who implements it. But no, I need to take the initiative and do it myself. Because if I don't do it, it's never going to happen.
Yep.
And so I'm going to do it. And it might suck because it's out of my nature. But I'm going to give myself peace of mind and stop
and it will help
feeling
you grow.
this way. And it will help me grow.
Yeah.
So,
and it will help other things grow too.
Mm-hmm. That's my goal for this week.
Perfect. What are your goals? Let us know. And remember, forgive yourself. Forgive others. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Forgiveness is a wonderful, wonderful tool. And I think we should all start implementing it more in our lives.
Agreed.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
See you next week. Make sure to check us out on social media at GotVerb or at our website, verbofficial.com. And send us your questions at askivhpod@gmail.com.
We post new podcast episodes every Monday, so subscribe to Insert Verb Here so you can insert verb into your daily routine.